Hey everybody, Charlie Runner 2 here, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. When we last left off, we were cross-examining the jurors. Members of the jury, I guess that's a better way to say it. We're trying to find two statements that contradict, and I think we've stumbled upon one here. This young lady is saying that 4 passengers with fares totaling 20 pence means that each passenger paid 5 pence. Right? So we're going to pit that statement against his statement. You can trust the guild. Fair fares is our motto. We haven't raised prices above 4 pence in years, right? 4 and 4, that would have been 16, not 20. So let's pit them against each other.
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other. They do? Explain yourself, counsel. Me? Oh dear, what have I said? I swear on Silver Blaze's mane and name, I haven't the first idea what you're talking about. According to the group testimony we've heard so far, there were 4 passengers on the omnibus on the night in question. And according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 20 pence in fares. Quite right, I have those precise details typed neatly here in front of me. And juror number 5 also told us the following. The fare for the omnibus is always 4 pence. That it is, a fair and convenient single price, just the way London's carriages should be operated. But that doesn't add up at all. In fact, it leaves a glaring discrepancy in the facts. Why, man, why? 4 passengers paying 4 pence each. If you do the multiplication, it would be 16 pence. Exactly. As I said, it doesn't add up. The figures are different. By 4 pence, in fact, are precisely one person's fare. One person's fare. Yes, in other words, on the omnibus that night, it's distinctly possible there was another passenger we've heard nothing about. There you go with the finger pointing. I'm proud of you. Good gracious. This can't be right. The coachmen of the guild are good, honest men, once and all. Trustworthiness is our watchword. The figures your coachman claims most certainly do not add up. Your watchword, good sir, is a fallacy. I love the drama. I beg your pardon. Mr. Guildmaster, I think you ought to consider that if this trial were to end now, the news will surely spread all over London. The news that one of your coachmen tried to hide the fact that he lets nefarious characters ride his omnibus. All right then, how do I make it so this miserable trial doesn't end, huh? Well, according to my book here, you simply launch a ball of fire into the innocent side on the set of scales. Now hold your horses there, coachman. We were all in agreement. Why do you have to go and... Wait till I get my hands on you, Beppo. Oh, okay, so I see their chairs change color based on guilty or innocent. I was trying to figure out what was going on behind them. Arg, this is all very irritating. Begging your pardon, sir. I'm going to do the same. For the love of Mike. Who is Mike? Not you as well? A penny can be the difference between a smile and a tear, after all. Come again? What? A penny? I certainly can't put my trust in someone who doesn't follow my exacting standards in financial matters. Oh, really? I, for one, think it's only proper that we hear from the witnesses again. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. You did it. If we could manage to change 2 more jurors' minds, we could force the trial to continue. So just 2 more, huh? Actually, there is something else that's bothering me about a couple of their assertions. Then that's where you must strike next. So I need to pit 2 more jurors against each other and show there's another contradiction in their assertion. So there's only 4 left. Exactly. You can do it. Well, the scales of justice have shifted, but they still weigh heavy on the side of guilt. Counsel, you have the floor again. Continue with your summation examination. Changing my leaning to innocent, I should like to hear what the slipshod bookkeeper has to say for himself. What does the first guy have to say? There was no one else inside the carriage at the time, so it has to have been him. What do you say? He stuck the chap next to him just like this. Brazen, I must say, absolutely brazen. I've simply typed and collated all the statements made thus far and drawn the logical conclusion. Beppo, this trial has to continue so I can get to the bottom of this corruption. Not guilty, I say. The scoundrel stabbing that poor man on the floor. It beggars belief. Stabbed the poor man on the floor, and he says he stabbed him like this. Yeah, I think I'm going to pit those 2 against each other. Let's see if that works. Pit you against the old lady. Stuck the chap next to him, stuck the chap on the floor. Pit.
Objection!
Those 2 statements are completely contradictory. What? Explain, counsel. Post haste. Oh, dearie me. I was only knitting a jumper for my other half. What is all this claptrap? What does contradictory even mean, I asked you? We've heard from more than one witness that they allegedly saw the actual moment when the defendant stabbed the victim. Now, out of curiosity, juror number 3. What? Can't you see I'm busy here? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim? What sort of motion was it? Ah, want to test me, do you? It was like this. Stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up, just like Prim Banker said. Yes, that was Mr. Fairplay's testimony. Quite true. Now then, juror number 6. She's going to go with, what, Beppy? Beppo? Beppel? Beppy said? Oh, is that me, is it? What can I do for you, young man? How would you say the defendant stabbed the victim, madam? Oh, well, dear, as far as I understand it, it was like this. He stabbed the poor man after he'd collapsed on the floor. The coachman said so. Now don't move. Take a look at these 2 jurors. He stuck the fellow next to him without even getting up. And he stabbed the poor man after he collapsed on the floor. Well, I never. They're stabbing in totally different directions. What? Bless my stitches. Mother bitches. What a muddle. Sorry for the language, but I had to. What this tells us is that there's a strong possibility one of the witnesses isn't telling the truth. Oh? But why? Why the dickens would they lie? To cover something up. Probably because they all owed him money. I don't know that yet, but what I do know is that if the trial ends at this point, we may never find out. We may never know the real truth. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, can you really let that happen in all good conscience? Lies, you say? Oh, dearie me. I can't abide people telling lies. The scales. I don't believe it. Hold it. Wait. Now hear this, my fellow jurors. I warn you, you cannot listen to this man. Look at him. In his black suit. He's clearly some devious Eastern sorcerer using magic on us all. Okay, yeah, racist magic. Got it. If I could use magic, do you really think I'd be putting myself through all this? Answer me this, Dark Jinx. Me? What exactly is the problem? What of it if 2 witnesses have slightly different recollections of events? What of it? Let's say the schlock did stab the victim as he was set next to him on the omnibus. and this young dandy saw him do it. And now let's say the victim collapsed on the floor and then the schlock stabbed him again. And this old lady saw him do it. Well, what's to say it didn't happen like that, huh? Who are you calling a dandy, sir? Why I should take this knife to you? Who are you calling old? Why I should take this needle to you? They're ready to kill each other now. But could the foreman of the jury be right? Did the two witnesses see two different moments of the same crime? Well, it's out of the question because of the blood on the gloves. Unfortunately, Mr. Foreman. What is it, you dark jinx? Come on, out with it. What you're suggesting is impossible. It's out of the question. What? What are you talking about, man? How can you possibly say that? You do realize that I'm only doing my job. As foreman of the jury, I have a responsibility to steer everyone in the right direction. So where's your evidence, man? That's what we want to see. I say the two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime. If you say it's out of question, show me some proof. I've got proof, the gloves. Looks like the only way I'm going to convince him is present him with something he can't dismiss. Some irrefutable hard evidence. As you wish. What? I'll give you the proof. It's out of question that two witnesses saw two different moments of the same crime, as proven by these gloves.
Take that!
It's a clear piece of evidence. Well, Mr. Foreman? Do you know what they say about me, young man? They say I've got no powers of persuasion. Oh, I see. I'm sorry to hear that. But no one will need persuading about this. You're even worse than me. How so? Those gloves clearly have blood of him jabbing the knife away from him, not bringing it down. Okay, we can also show the blood in the... we can show the blood stain in the carriage. Well, the picture, too. Evidence that he was stabbed once. Oh, single stab. I was thinking too deep. I mean, you guys see this. Like, the knife would have to have been held the other way, and the blood would have been on the pinky side of the glove if he was stabbing with the blade on the outside of his hand. But yes, this shows a single stab wound, so let's present this.
Take that!
This is the victim's autopsy report. According to what's written here, Mr. Mason was stabbed in the abdomen only once. Only once? It's quite simple. The victim was stabbed precisely one time. Which means these witnesses can't possibly have seen it happen two different times. Yeah. All right, I concede defeat. Wait, that means 4 jurors are now leaning to not guilty. We've done it, Mr. Naruhodo. We've won. No, well, we haven't won. We've earned the right to continue the court proceedings. What are you playing at, you dandy fool? Shut your trap, sir. No one deceives me. But we had a consensus. I said shut your trap. I know a liar when I see one. And if the chap ever dares to cross the threshold of my shop, I'll take this razor-sharp blade and... Are you licking the blade? Ew, don't do that. Why are you doing that? Who does that? I'll take this razor-sharp blade and shave every last hair off his head. Please tell me he's a barber. Well, in quite a remarkable turn of events, the defense's summation examination has flipped the balance of the scales of justice. The jurors now stand at 2 for guilty and 4 for not guilty. Accordingly, there's no longer a large enough majority among the jury for me to adjudicate, and the trial must continue. I hereby ask the defense, prosecution, and witnesses to return to their places. And I call upon all of you to continue to pursue the truth. Let's do it. So, Lord Van Zykes, continue to substantiate the case for the prosecution, if you will. Oh, he drank all his blood. He's got some more coming. Hallowed chalice. Okay. Oh my God. It's such dramatic flair. Having savored the rich aroma of the carmine contents of this hallowed chalice, it may seem crass to crush it to dust. Pray forgive the discourtesy. Everything you do is discourtesy. Lord Van Zykes! Is it cold in here, or is it just me? As your antiquated tome no doubt says, the prosecution may not speak during a summation examination. So I honored a deathly silence and listened to the charade. It seems I overestimated the intelligence of the jury. Wow, he's just gonna berate the jury now. Well, no matter. There is nothing so hard to prove as self-evident truth, it would seem. No. And why else would we grace the courtroom with our presence after all? So, let us proceed to the next round of battle. The double zoom in. Bring forth the witnesses once more. A miserable pile of secrets. I know that's Dracula, not Alucard, but still, in the same vein here. Witnesses. I trust you heard the summation examination we have just had to endure. Oh, yes, sir. That I did, sir. Of course I heard it. Oh, yes, sir. I heard it. You, sir, on the end. The coachman. I believe it's Beppo? Yes, sir. My lord, sir. If it transpires that in your previous testimony, you are attempting to veil the presence of a fifth passenger on your omnibus, you will be found guilty of perjury. You are advised to bear that in mind, sir. Oh mio Dio. Mio Dio, my God? Now then, witnesses, I hereby call on you to testify before the court again. You will explain the various misgivings brought to our attention by the defense's summation examination. It was basically just a cross-examination with extra steps, right? Okay, so Mr. Fairplay's looking a different direction. He looks kind of like Hercule, which I believe is Mr. Satan. I only carried 4 passengers that night. I swear it. Well, I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. He fiddled us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. Fiddled us. Okay. So the driver, thought that the last omnibus of the night wasn't worth it because it was too cold and he didn't make enough money to even cover his alcohol. So he's overcharging these guys to make more money. Is that what they're saying? I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands. Oh, yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes. Why are you still so cold? I think so, he said. Counsel, make sense of this for me, please. The phantom fifth passenger conjured into existence by my learned Eastern friend never existed. Did you... You didn't change clothes. Okay. The confusion has arisen from the coachman's sly little... Cozenage? I don't know that word. Cozenage. Beppo, explain yourself. I'm terribly sorry, Guildmaster. The guild's fare is 4 pence across the board. You know that. Am I to understand that you've been overcharging our passengers by a penny a fare? It's so cold, and the last run of the day is always half empty. You've been dishonest, coachman. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace, Beppo. A disgrace. And your selfish actions have brought dishonor onto the entire guild. If I may, sir. I had to pay 10 pence on the bus just last week. 10 pence. What? 4 passengers at 5 pence each is, yes, 20 pence. I've done the arithmetic 10 times already, but I just can't make the result come out differently. You don't have to. No, that figures. Well, it would appear that one of the aforementioned misgivings has already been explained. So, counsel, for the defense, your cross-examination, if you please. We've already had the pleasure of a protracted summation examination today. I see you intend to continue the parlor games. Absolutely. Various misgivings. I only carried 4 passengers that night, I swear it, but, alright, let's press that.
Hold it!
But, what? So there were only 4 passengers on your carriage, but you didn't charge them the standard 4 pence fare. Is that right? Let's look at everybody else. He's scared. He's brooding. He's scared for some reason.
Excuse me.
Oh, I didn't mean to talk to Mr. Fairplay. What are you fossicking for now? That last statement appears to have given you pause for thought? No, it didn't. Not really. By the way, you always seem to be looking to the side, one way or another. Do you have some affliction? Not really. He's not really willing to say anything, it seems. It's none of your business anyhow. Wait a minute, can we go back to this? No, he's still scared over there. I, for one, was told I had to pay 5 pence for the bus. Press him.
Hold it!
I don't really see a downside in pressing the witnesses. Maybe there is, and maybe I'm doing this wrong, but I think pressing them just gives us more information. Does that mean everyone on board that night paid 5 pence instead of 4? That is a fair question. Well, I paid 5 pence too, sir. And I just told you that I did. A flat fare of 5 pence across the board. It's not something to be proud of. The so-called discrepancy my learned friend identified was nothing of the sort. Much like the phantom killer you so desperately needed, it's gone, dead and buried. I'd have been happy if it ever existed in the first place. He fiddled us on the fare, he did, and then I saw that blood-curdling sight as well. It's all too much. I believe that as well, but we're going to press him.
Hold it!
This blood-curdling sight, you mean the murder, I presume? Yes, sir. He's not looking at him, is he? He might be. I don't think there's anything. Yes, sir. A loathsome sight. No one should have to witness the horror in the eyes of a man the moment his life is taken. Oh, well, not exactly, sir. I mean, I didn't actually see the exact moment the gent was stabbed. Good gracious, really? We have another witness who did, however. The banker has already testified to it. But Mr. First didn't actually see the point at which the victim was killed. That may turn out to be very significant. I heard the banker gent next to me take a sharp intake of breath, see? That's when I looked through the glass. That's when I saw the horrible blade poking out from his belly, all covered in blood. Every time I see a knife now, I can't help screaming, even when I'm eating. I tell you, I saw McGilded stabbing that man. Everything I said before stands.
Hold it!
Tell me more about that. So you saw the defendant, Mr. McGilded, stabbing the victim, Mr. Mason, who was sitting next to him. That's what I said, isn't it? It was bothering me before, this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated before answering the question. Anyways, there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? Are you alright?
Excuse me!
Mr. First. Oh, can I help you, sir? That last statement, did it trouble you in some way? Oh, not particularly, sir, no. If anything, he's troubling me with that hat of his. Has he greased his head? Oh dear sir, I hope my hat's not troubling you, sir. I'm still just apprentice, you see. Mr. Naruhodo, even the witnesses can see what's going through your mind. You really must be more careful. I wish it were that simple. Is there a reason to not being more careful? Hold on, I want to go back to this one. I want to press this again.
Hold it!
And I'm not going to talk to First. That's what I said, isn't it? It's bothering me before this was. For just a brief moment, he hesitated. Anyway, there was only 2 of them inside the carriage, wasn't there? There's been much talk of a 5th passenger, but as of yet, 0 evidence. Then what are we wasting all this time for, eh? It's black and white. The man's guilty. Something about Mr. Fairplay's testimony just jars with me. I wish I could work out what it was. Oh yes, he stabbed him. Yes, he did. I think so, yes.
Hold it!
I said I think so. Earlier you testified that you saw the moment when the defendant allegedly stabbed the victim, didn't you? Oh yes, that's right. They're still both in their states. You said that the victim was on the floor and described the assailant holding the knife in an ice pick grip. I suppose I might have, yes, put the cart before the horse, maybe. What's this? Well, I'm quite sure about most of it. I was driving the horses when I heard a scream from the seats on the roof deck. Oh, I expect that was me, sir. Then when I turned around, yes, I saw it through the skylight. The gentleman was on the floor and the knife was sticking up out of his midriff. That's right, yes, and the fellow holding the handle was the famous man, yes. So in short, you didn't see the moment when the victim was actually stabbed at all. I really thought I did, but when I go over it again in my head, no, I suppose I didn't actually see the precise moment that the stabbing did I? Oh, he's pissed.
Excuse me!
Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Fairplay? Now you listen to me. I know what you're thinking. You didn't really see the exact moment the fellow was stabbed. What are the chances of that? Eh? Are you asking me or telling me? He's getting flustered. I might be able to extract some new information from him if I answer him cleverly. Could he have just happened to see the exact moment the crime was committed? Some days are like that. Well, I suppose some days are like that. Sooner or later, you'll see something you wish you hadn't. If you're always peeping through a skylight on the top of an omnibus... Peeping? I'm a respectable city banker, I'll have you know. And I know what I saw. I remember it clear as a Ballarat day. Mr. Grim Scene, I don't mind telling you. Thank you, Mr. Fairplay. Oh, excuse me if I was getting a little hot under the collar there, my lord. I would ask you to supplement your testimony with a clear statement about it, what exactly you saw. Oh, I can do that, all right. I'll tell you just how grim it was. Do you think I'd forget the sight of those blood-soaked hands after that butcher stabbed the man? Well, he didn't have blood-soaked hands. It said hands, not gloves. All right, so let's present. Now let's present the gloves.
Objection!
Blood-soaked. Hands? Well, I admit that soaked might be laying it on a little thick, but anyway, there was definitely blood all over them. Both of them were covered in it. Well, I'm very sorry to disagree, Mr. Fairplay, but that's more than a little peculiar. What? Here are the gloves worn by the defendant, Mr. McGilded, on the night in question. Oh, yes, right. And there certainly does appear to be a sizable dark-colored stain there. But as I'm sure you can clearly see, it's only on the right-handed glove. Arg! Man, don't hurt your teeth like that, dude. Ah, it hurts my ears. In short, Mr. Fairplay, your testimony is inconsistent. Yeah! But no, that can't be right. So you're the liar here, then. Garg, stop chewing on that. That's right, you were quite clear about it. You said, here, it was both hands. Grr. Mr. Fairplay, if your last statement was a lie, it calls your entire testimony into question. You say you saw the moment the victim was stabbed, but is that really the truth? Arg, I
Objection!
like how his objection is spelt with different font. It was quite a simple mistake. You can't justify accusing this man of lying. Yes, it wasn't both hands. It was only one, but the fact remains. The victim's blood was on the accused.
Objection!
Keep wanting to say accursed. No, Mr. Fairplay categorically stated that he saw blood all over both hands, which means there's a strong possibility that this witness was deliberately trying to mislead the court. And we're going to have to figure out what his intentions were next episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider to like, a comment, and or a subscribe. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.